The village was shrouded in fear. Ancient trees, gnarled like witches' fingers, loomed over crumbling houses. Their shadows stretched long and dark, swallowing the light. At the edge of this unsettling village lay a well. It wasn't a source of life, but a symbol of dread. The villagers called it the Cursed Well. Legend whispered of a terrible power residing within the well's depths. It was said that anyone who gazed into its murky water would see a vision of their own demise. Some saw illness, others accidents, but all who looked met their doom soon after. Generations passed and the well remained untouched, feared by all. The well was a scar on the village's heart, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface. It was a place where whispers turned to screams and curiosity led to an untimely end. Even the bravest souls avoided its gaze, knowing that some secrets are best left buried. The villagers lived under the shadow of the well, its curse woven into the very fabric of their lives. But fear cannot chain the heart of youth. In the village lived a young man named Ethan, known for his adventurous spirit and thirst for the unknown. He scoffed at the tales of the well, dismissing them as mere superstition. He refused to be bound by the fear that gripped his elders. Ethan saw the fear in the eyes of his fellow villagers and felt a surge of defiance. He yearned to prove that their terror was unfounded, that the well held no real power. One night, as the moon hung low and heavy in the sky, he decided to confront the well and its legend. His heart pounded with a mixture of fear and excitement. Ignoring the pleas of his worried neighbors, Ethan ventured into the night. He walked with a determined stride, his eyes fixed on the silhouette of the well against the moonlit sky. He was about to tempt fate, to challenge the darkness that haunted his village. The night was alive with strange sounds. The wind howled through the trees, its mournful cries echoing Ethan's growing unease. As he neared the well, the air grew heavy, thick with an unseen menace. A cold sweat broke out on his skin, but he pressed on, his resolve unwavering. Then he heard it, a whisper, barely audible at first, carried on the wind. It seemed to come from the well itself, a voice both alluring and terrifying. It spoke his name, Ethan. Ethan. His steps faltered. The fear that had been a distant tremor now surged through him, threatening to overwhelm him. He stopped at the edge of the well, his heart pounding in his chest. The whispering grew louder, more insistent, swirling around him like a living thing. It beckoned him closer, promising to reveal the truth that lay hidden beneath the surface. Ethan fought against the urge to run, to flee back to the safety of his home. With trembling hands, Ethan raised his lantern. Its flickering light danced across the surface of the water, revealing nothing but its own distorted reflection. He leaned closer, his breath catching in his throat. He could feel the darkness of the well reaching out to him, pulling him in, and then he saw it. A face stared back at him from the depth, a face that mirrored his own, but this reflection was different, twisted into an expression of pure terror. Its eyes were wide with fear, its mouth open in a silent scream. It was the face of his own death. Terror gripped Ethan's heart with icy claws. He stumbled back, dropping his lantern. It tumbled into the well, the light vanishing with a hiss, plunging him into absolute darkness. He tried to scream, but no sound escaped his throat. He was paralyzed with fear. Something emerged from the well. A figure, shrouded in shadow, rose from the darkness. It moved with an unnatural grace, its eyes glowing with an eerie light. Ethan could feel its cold, dead gaze fixed upon him, and he knew that he was looking at his own doom. The figure reached out, its touch sending a jolt of terror through Ethan. He screamed then, a raw, primal sound that ripped through the night. He scrambled back, his hands scraping against the rough ground, his mind teetering on the brink of madness. He didn't stop running until he reached the outskirts of the village. He burst into his home, slamming the door shut behind him and collapsing to the floor, his chest heaving, his eyes wide with terror. The image of the figure, his doppelganger, was seared into his mind. The villagers found him the next morning, huddled in a corner, mumbling incoherently. His hair had turned white, his eyes vacant and haunted. He tried to tell them what he had seen, what had emerged from the well, but words failed him. From that day forward, Ethan was never the same. The vibrant, adventurous young man was gone, replaced by a shell of his former self. The well claimed another victim, not in death but in spirit. The legend lived on, stronger than ever. The well remained untouched, a silent testament to the terror it held. The villagers avoided it even more now, their fear tinged with pity for Ethan. They knew that some truths are too terrible to face, some doors best left unopened. The well had won, its grip on the village tighter than ever.